Okay, peace everybody. Welcome to another segment of Masterminds Monday. I am one of your hosts, Alicia Tyrell Anu, and we are also here with our other host, Brother Damon Rawls. Peace.
Greetings.
So, again, just to recap, we are doing things a little bit differently. So, as for right now, we are going to be broadcasting in, on Enlightenment Transformation Radio, but through our Google Plus business page. So just to recap just briefly, if you called us last week, you would have learned that we're trying to come off of Blog Talk Radio because we have had a lot of technical difficulties, and this just gives us more flexibility and an opportunity to connect with our YouTube audience. So this is an excellent thing. It's a lot of fun. It gives us a lot more control over like how we present when we present. So it's going to be a lot of fun. So I'm just asking if you are listening, to please make sure you follow us because we are trying to transition everybody off Blog Talk over to Google Plus. So again, just if you tune in, make sure you click follow so that you can get in tune with all of our broadcasts. Because again, we have 5 shows on the Enlightenment Transformation Network. This one airs on Monday at 9. Then we also have Anu Osako on Wednesdays at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, hosted by Sister Kim. And then on Thursdays, we have Foundational. Thunderground Thursdays on Thursdays at 9, as well as Foundational Fridays on Fridays with Chief Yuya himself. And then we have Chief Speaks on Sunday. Every Sunday at 11, it's a live Q&A show. So definitely come in and check us out, but make sure you follow us to stay in tune with all the updates that we're going to be making. So again, for tonight, again, just what's a little bit different. The shows will be a little bit briefer, so we can get right to the point and give you the content that you are looking for. And we've been doing a bit of a theme the past few weeks on Black economic achievements. And tonight we are highlighting Lowell Hawthorne, who is the founder of the Golden Crust franchise. So, Brother Damon, are you familiar with Golden Crust? I know you're, in the you're in the East Coast, but a little bit down south. I'm not sure if they're down there.
Let me tell you, I've eaten many of I've eaten a lot of cocoa bread and patty. So yes, a brother does know who he is.
Awesome. Me too. Like I used to work in the city, and on lunch break. I mean, stuff back in the day, I wasn't I wasn't health conscious, I guess you could say, in that sense. So that would be a wonderful lunch for me, really quick. Quick beef patty or chicken patty, and they were so cheap, like $2 for a patty. It was and so good. So I used to tear those things up. Now I don't really go so much. Just dietary changes.
Yeah.
But I do enjoy a veggie patty now and then. I haven't been to Golden Crust in a while, but just any Jamaican restaurant, I love their veggie or their spinach patties. They're excellent.
Yeah, I used to live I worked in D.C. for a while, so I would commute from here to D.C. And every week, when I would come back, I would get 2 chicken patties, 2 cocoa bread. Every week, every Friday.
Wow.
Like clockwork. They knew it was me.
Right? You're like one of the locals, the knowns. Regulars, I meant to say.
Exactly.
But before we get into the topic for tonight, I just want to make a couple of quick announcements. Again, just wanted to say thank you all for you all who did attend yesterday's webinar. I can't believe it was just yesterday. On the spiritual gifts of herbs. It was a wonderful webinar hosted by Sister Kim, and we have another one coming up called Magic of Essential Oils. So again, definitely RSVP for that in advance because we try to give everybody a bit of a notice to so that we can prepare and know who's coming. So just make sure you definitely have to RSVP in order to attend. So it's not one of those things back how we used to do our events in person where people don't ever RSVP and they just show up last minute. You can't do that, for webinars. Webinars, you have to sign up online and register, and then the day of we give you a link so that you can just basically click the link, type in the password, and voila, you can watch the webinar right from the comfort of your home. So it's a very, very simple process, but it does require you to RSVP in advance. So make sure you do that today at inunation.org/events, and you can see all the details about what that event will be about. And of course, always come with your pen and pad because there's a lot of information. That is the theme of how we present, in our presentations, especially if you're familiar with Chief GI. You'll be writing and taking notes for days. Also, on the Alpha Omega store, we have a lot of new products. So certainly come out and we have some wonderful specials. So you'll realize, there's been some updates as soon as you go to the store. We have two specials right now. Right now, it's free shipping on domestic orders over $75. So that is excellent if you live in the States and you want to make a nice big purchase. Your shipping will be free. Because sometimes that does make or break someone's buying decision. And that shipping. So we wanted to kind of accommodate people that way. And then also we have a get social discount. So basically, as soon as you come to the site, you'll see it's going to pop up, and it just asks you to like us. And in exchange for that, you get a 10% discount, and you can combine both. So definitely check us out at the Alpha Omega store. Again, it's your one-stop shop for all of your spiritual and self-development needs, and we have a ton of beautiful new products on the site. So definitely get to the site and check us out. And with that said, let's get into our topic for tonight. So we wanted to highlight, again, Lowell Hawthorne, who's the founder of Golden Crust franchise. But he has a very interesting story. And, instead of just having us go through, just explaining what he did, we thought it would be a good idea to kind of take a clip from an interview that he did to kind of share how he built his empire and, what they have planned for the future and how he got started. So let's play a clip of that, and then we'll come right back from the break. Give me 1 second to pull it up. And then we will hit.
Welcome. Thanks for watching Black Enterprise Business Report. I'm Sean Davis. Coming up, wealth-building tips to keep you out of debt for the new year. Plus, our Entrepreneur of the Week can take your company to the next level with just a little research. And Electrolyte shares a special forbidden treat, perfect for you and your loved ones. But first, one of the golden rules of business is to never do business with family. But our power player cooked up a multi-million-dollar empire doing just the opposite. Pardon the pun, but Lowell Hawthorne, founder and chief executive officer of Golden Crust Caribbean Bakery, is making a lot of dough, both figuratively and financially speaking.
We have 115 stores, but most of these stores that have been hoping by franchisees. Franchisees have basically invested over $24 million in the Golden Crust system to open these stores over the last 10 years. How's it going? Going good?
But good would be an understatement for this Jamaican-born entrepreneur. Hawthorne, along with his 10 sisters and brothers, have seen their once modest, family-owned store become a household name, turning little meat patties their father once sold on the streets for 50 cents into a $70 million business.
I'm extremely blessed. I have a wonderful family, mother and father, who has been in the business over 50 years. So when I came to the United States, 25 years ago in 1981, I've always had that dream and aspiration to go into bakery business.
When you first started the restaurant, what were some of the biggest challenges?
Well, loans were declined because during those times, banks were not lending money to the restaurant industry to fail rate. So that was a major challenge. Of course, equipment, finding the right type of equipment was also difficult. Getting permits and all that was also difficult for us. Finding the right employees was also difficult. But we eventually managed to overcome many of those obstacles and started the very first bakery.
Which is truly a family business because Hawthorne convinced his siblings to pull equity out of their homes and deplete their savings to invest over $150,000 of seed money.
I guess it was difficult, but they know I've always had the entrepreneurial spirit from Jamaica, and they believe in me. I'm a finance major, I'm a good accountant.
As it turns out, he's not the only hard worker in the family.
I'm the eldest out of 11, and then I guess I take care of them, so they call me mother.
A title well deserved after she saved enough money to move all of her siblings from border Jamaica to the United States.
I came here in 1971. I worked very hard, working at a nursing home.
And one by one, she shipped her family to the States.
Then after the nursing home, we got the Golden Crust Bakery.
And it didn't take long for the company to expand by creating an in-house manufacturing plant and then cooking up an even bigger concept of franchising Golden Crust stores.
Between 1989 and 1993, I'd opened 17 company stores. So by then, folks were basically knocking the Golden Crust door to become a part of the Golden Crust franchise system.
Then in 1996, his 7 years of hard work paid off.
May 23rd, I'll never forget the date, we got the call that we had been approved for New York State franchise license. And I'm like, wow, one of the first Jamaicans to become a licensed franchisor in the state of New York. So that was a tremendous achievement.
How did you do that?
I had a great plan to provide authentic Caribbean cuisine, great atmosphere, good customer service, good pricing, and we have a good vision and a good plan to basically take the taste of the Caribbean to every neighborhood in the United States.
And they're on the fast track to achieving that goal. Golden Crust is in 8 states throughout the country, and future plans include opening approximately 26 stores a year and eventually opening 1 franchise a week. Until then, all of their Caribbean cuisine patties, breads, sweets, and spices will continue to be processed, preserved, packaged, and shipped from their manufacturing plant in the Bronx.
Every morning, every day I take it. Yeah, I make sure the quality is there.
The patties are so popular, they're now being sold in supermarkets and supplied to a broad range of institutions, both on the state and federal level.
We have a contract with New York City school system, for instance, where we supply them with 24 million patties within a 4-year period. We supply the penal system, and we supply across all federal institutions.
But their beef, chicken, and veggie patties aren't the only reason Golden Crust is rolling in dough. Even in franchisee, it comes back down to the same way people have always made money, real estate.
Eventually, I think Golden Crust is not just going to be the patty business. I think it's going to be the real estate tycoon at some point, because it's a lot of leases and it's a lot of property that we own currently. And part of the company's objective is to keep owning location and keep renting it to franchisees.
An objective this focused and functional family is sure to achieve.
We have one goal, one determination, and it's coming together and working together as one to make it work.
I've never worked anywhere else, and I would never work anywhere else. Probably this is where it's at.
If you really want to make something out of yourself, you have to invest, you have to take a risk. Everything in life is a risk, and I'm happy that I took this risk because it's a very successful business.
All right. So, again, that was a clip from an interview on Black Enterprise with Lowell Hawthorne, who is, again, the founder of the Golden Crust franchise. So, Brother Damon, I'll let you just go first. Just, what resonated with you hearing about how his empire was developed?
Knowing his story, one of the things about him too is that he was industrious, like prior to even coming to the U.S. So even in Jamaica, I think he was from Borderline. He used to take people. He used to drive buses and stuff into Kingston. Just take tourists around. So he was always entrepreneurial. But one thing I do like about his story is that he was able to utilize his family and leverage the power of we talked about this last week, is
Mhm.
that collective family cooperation and
Yep.
everybody moving towards the same goal. And those recipes, his dad had a bakery in Jamaica. So some of those recipes came over. His dad helped them do what they're doing now. And then they continue to move further. And now you see a sister is a franchise owner. His
Mhm.
niece is a franchise owner. Son's VP of operations. Uh, and one of the things too, I've in reading about his story, is he said if the family's in the business and they didn't have the skill set to do the job, they would be fired.
Mhm.
you know, they would be fired in a way that we all would still have a family relationship afterwards.
Mhm.
So beautiful story, and I love how they leverage the family to get it done, because
Yeah.
they realize that they can do more together than separately. You know,
Mhm. Mhm.
so
Yeah.
that's the number one thing that resonates.
Gotcha. And likewise, I feel like it made me think of the comment you made last week, where you were saying how you were sitting in the room with people and they were saying how they would get started, and someone said, "Well, I wouldn't do it like that, Damon. I would just borrow $100,000 from my family." We were talking about that last week, how that's not really viable for us to do stuff like that. But to me here, this was like a nice example of how it could be done.
Mm,
And so it was collective. I mean, he has 10 brothers and sisters. So that's the beauty again of building big families. But what I liked was that they were all like of like mind. Just because you have a big family doesn't mean that everyone's going to be hardworking. you
yeah,
know. So I was it was very inspiring to see how hardworking and dedicated his entire siblings were. All of his siblings were. His one sister, that was beautiful. How she was able to save to bring everybody over to the States. You know, that he majored in finance, so he's like the visionary and the director of everything. And now they want to start real estate. And like you saw in the video, it was like, okay, his whole family is a part of that business, and they are all over the place. So and they have very aggressive and ambitious goals. So I just really like their work ethic. And to me, it's kind of funny because it goes to the stereotypes. If you ever used to watch like In Living Color, they talk about Caribbeans, how they have like 1,000 jobs and they always working. Well, I mean, that's not a bad stereotype to have.
I
You
got
know,
treated out, man.
exactly, exactly. It would just make me think of that. It's just like, wow, they kind of like live up to that stereotype. At least in this example, where they were all very hard working, dedicated, and driven. So but the thing too was that um, they believed in each other, so they took a risk. Because that's a big risk. Like they were pulling equity from their homes. They could have been homeless if he failed. You know, so I thought that was beautiful, where they really trusted in his vision and something that started so small. Like again, his father was selling patties for like 25 or 50 cents, something like that, on a street, like a street vendor, and now, it's a major franchise. So I just thought that was very inspirational. Again, just to show you the power of that collective, where they were all of like mind and they were able to create such a beautiful empire. So I thought that was an example of that kind of offset what we talked about last week. You know.
Yeah, and the thing about it, if everyone works hard, and in their recent numbers, that video, I don't know how old the video is, but
Hmm.
their recent numbers, they're doing about $100 million right now.
That is amazing.
So I know the video said they were doing 77, but Golden Crust is doing $100 million right now.
Yeah, that was an older clip.
Yeah, but so if you know if you want to have success, I mean, look at the success that they've created. That they're changing the entire Hawthorns forever. Because they all focus their attention and energy in creating something larger than what they could have ever dreamed of. And everybody was about it getting better. The dad before they died. Now there's a foundation named after his dad and mom, a scholarship foundation. His dad was in the store every day in the franchise in upstate New York every day before he died.
Wow.
He passed in his 70s, but every day checking the recipe, making sure things were right. So, but collectively, now imagine if all 10 kids, chase their own dreams.
Yeah.
They all could have had pretty cool lives, but now look at it.
Yeah.
If they sold the company right now, for let's say they sold the company at face value, $100 million, with every kid who's invested in that company would walk away and never have to work again.
Yep.
Because they would essentially take home $3-4 million. I mean, that's crazy. That's that just goes to show you what can be done if you collectively work together towards success.
Absolutely. And that makes me think as well as the susu. We discussed that on the show a few months ago, or like 6 months ago. It was a while ago. And that's still popular today in the Caribbean. It came out of Africa, the susu. And that's the collective, whether you're family or not. It's just that communal, okay, you need, it's like looking out for your community where, okay, you need to make or save $1,000 for whatever your project or deal is. I need $1,000 to fix my car. Okay, instead of going to banks, let's collectively put our money in, and then you get to cash out on June, I cash out in July, and you cash out in August. So I thought that was also cool because it's like a way where they keep the banks out. And even like how he said here, the banks were the biggest challenge. You couldn't get a loan because, restaurants do fail. It was grand opening, grand closing, for a lot of these restaurants.
Yeah.
So they were able to just, say skip the banks. Let's just start with family. So I thought that was awesome. And it was hard work. So I also like how the one sister did say it was hard work. If she didn't make it seem like, oh, it's just so easy, we just took out a second mortgage on our home and that was it. She's like, no, I had to work as a nurse. It wasn't like she had this prestigious, high-paying job. Although nurses do make pretty good money, depending on what type of nurse you are. But she had a huge family, so that was a lot of savings to bring everybody over from Jamaica. It's not like it was just one sibling to the States. That was a lot. So I'm sorry, go ahead.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, and I was saying when he came over, when Lowell, he was 21. So, and he went to work for the police department doing inventory, like stocker. He was a stock boy for the police department, right? I mean, at 21 years old, you know what I'm saying? When he came over from Jamaica. So, and then he went to college and worked his way and then became an accountant for the police department. And he had a job the entire time too, so they worked hard. It's not that like I actually looked at his LinkedIn profile when I was doing some research, and they were doing. He's been president of the company for 26 years.
Yeah.
That's 26 years,
Yeah.
So, they've been at this thing for a long time, so not that it's an overnight success either.
Exactly. So, I love these stories because it seems like when we hear these success stories, you just kind of hear the end product for the most part. You don't always hear the grind. just even looking from, managing a store. It's you hear these e-commerce stores where it's like, oh, you went from 0 to 120,000 in 3 months, and it's just like, well, how? Why? And they share a little bit, but it's not like showing the real struggle that they had. And was it really 3 months? And how long did you keep making that? You don't always get the true um, story behind things, where sometimes people just got a lot of help. So it wasn't this thing that's so easy for anyone else to do. They kind of make it seem like, oh, if I did it, you can do it.
Yeah,
Uh,
they didn't tell you about the 5 stores that they had that failed prior, and they had a lot of information,
exactly.
and then they hit the right lick. So.
Hmm. Yeah, I like it when it shows it's like it was hard work. We didn't get a lot of help from, external people or banks. We had to pull it together and just grind until we became what we are today. And they have an in-house manufacturing, of their stuff. So I just really like how they were really, doing that self-sufficient thing in terms of the business. And franchise is big business. You can make a ton of money in franchise. As an owner, I'm not saying going to just, okay, you want to manage a Subway yourself. You can still make good money, of course, but it's not yours. The person who owns that license, like he said, he had that New York franchise license. That is serious, serious power and money. Because no one else can open up a franchise without paying him. You know, so it seems like they have a lot of serious contracts and a lot of real estate that they own. It just seems like it's just a serious money maker. So I was just really inspired, and I really also like how they have built all this around one product.
Yeah.
It's not like they have 1,000 things going on. This one patty. It's just like, how? Wow. So it just shows that the quality of what you do and the hard work, the family, it's just a lot of things that were going on inside of their empire that really, I thought was really interesting and powerful. So to me, when I'm mentioning that one thing that seems so simple, it's a patty. Again, it just makes me think of people who, if you're listening and you think you have an idea and you think it's not a big deal, won't make a huge difference, it won't have an impact, think again. Because, well, and with discernment, because sometimes your idea may not be the best idea. But, I mean, this is the second show where we highlighted somebody who made millions off of a cookie or a patty, So it's just an example of how your gifts and talents, don't take them for granted, because they can turn into something like this. Like when we did the week or so before, we did Wally Amos, Famous Amos Cookies. He started out as a talent agent. He had nothing to do. He wasn't trying to be into the cookie business. He wasn't a professional as a baker. Now, he had a background in culinary arts. He lived with his grandmother, who kind of taught him, how to make these cookies, because he said he grew up, his house always smelled like cookies. But he started out as a talent agent, like a serious one. He was signing A-list actors, singers, I'm sorry. And when he wanted to branch out on his own as a talent agent, he was struggling. Of course, again, we got the struggle. But to make himself feel good, he would like have these little gatherings and bake these cookies. So people were like, "What? Why don't you promote these cookies?" Like you try to, put all that marketing that you put behind people behind these cookies. These cookies are amazing, and he revolutionized the cookie industry. He was the first person to have a store that just solely sold cookies. Like that would have been like somebody would have said that's a stupid idea back in the day. It's like you can't just survive with a storefront selling just cookies. And he did. And now today that's so common, you don't think it's a big deal. Like, okay, all we do is sell cupcakes, all we do is sell cookies. But he was the first person to start that, like in the world. Wally Amos, black man. So I just thought that was so powerful because, again, sometimes we think we should be these, aspire to be these things that have these, appearance of important titles and important roles. And you feel like, oh, if I just make cookies, it's not a big deal. But this man, I mean, he turned that cookie into like an industry, you know. And that was one of my favorite cookies back in the day. And his personality was the marketing piece, just him and his face. He was all over the packages and everything. Um, and now he's still the spokesperson for it. So, I mean, I just made me think of him, and now, okay, this one patty. I mean, of course, they have different flavors and everything, but it's just a patty
Hmm.
that they sell in their store, and it's you know, millions and millions of dollars a month they make.
And
So,
how many
hmm?
and how many people from Jamaica can make the patty?
Hmm.
That even better. Probably 20. You know, I mean, it's a staple.
Hmm. But I just like how they've survived on that because now if you go like it's a Jamaican restaurant um, where I live in my town, and they sell a lot more than just patties. You know, they got the beef curry, the chicken curry, and all that stuff too, which is amazing. But it seems like they have like just took the market on just being able to sustain themselves with primarily that patty. 'Cause they have other food in there too as well, but the patty is what everyone goes there for. You know. So I don't know, I just thought it was very interesting how people with these baking talents, these simple things that people take for granted that they've just turned into a million and billion dollar industry. So that's just something I would advise everyone to kind of take away. Don't overlook any of your talents. See how you can market any gift and talent that you have with discernment. How can you really make it work? And put your talents and your will behind it and see what happens. Because it's still a risk. You have to see what happens. You might not succeed, but at least from that failure, you will learn from that mistake, and then okay, push forward with another idea. Just keep going, but just don't look down on any talent or gift that you have. And just keep cultivating them. So that's all I have to add about that. That is my takeaway. Last gem to add before we close out. Do you have any announcements or anything you wanted to add before we close out?
No, just wanted to announce we still got the business breakthrough program going on. So if you guys are ready to take your business or life to the next level, by all means, jump in. We've got people having some significant success. Um, just actually a photography company that we're working with. They've gone from 0 to 100 real quick,
Mm.
as Drake would say. So, but a lot of people having success. So if you guys are interested in getting more information, you can email me at damon@damonrawls@gmail.com or find me on Facebook, Damon Rawls, AMONRWLS.
Awesome. Awesome. And that is our show for tonight. Again, like I said, it was a briefer show. Going forward, they'll be pretty brief and to the point, so I hope you enjoyed it, as well as the video clip. And until next time, we will see you all next week. Peace.
Peace.